Fill up.
I drink your milkshake.
You are listening to the Billionaire Podcast Network.
Welcome to Lost in the Maize, number 11. Lost in the Maize, the solo show only on the Billionaire Podcast Network. Ka-ching! Bing, 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 bing! Dee-dee-dee! Fill her up. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. This one's going to be late. Because I forgot to record it. Or I've been putting it off. I've been dealing with this extreme fatigue lately. It might be long COVID, but we'll get more on that in a minute. First off, up top, plugs: YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you're watching or listening to this, that means you're already subscribed, but go tell people about it. Patreon.com/cornfed with Dalton Pruitt, $5 tier, $10, $15. But the best one, the $25 tier, gets you the Fraternal Order of Corn-Fed charity scam decal. After 3 months of having been subscribed, so $75 for a sticker. But once you subscribe, you can send me a list of your enemies, and I will call for a jihad upon them. And then also, if you do stay subscribed long enough and once you receive the decal, that's your ticket to being a guest on the main Corn-Fed show. If you want to be a guest, we'll zoom you in, do a full Marin-style interview, ask you what made you want to get into comedy, what's your process, who are your guys, who inspired you, what do you think of this Trump fella, Orange Man? We'll do that whole chestnut. And then other than that, please follow me on TikTok at Dalton Pruitt, because I'm just completely fucking nuked on Twitter, X, formerly Twitter. That fucking goddamn app, it has definitely shadow banned me. And I'm not getting any traction on anything. I'm losing followers on there. That I see no benefit to even trying to fucking use it anymore. I just post the dumb diarrhea thoughts I have. But I am definitely shadow banned on X, formerly Twitter, which is fun. It's fun that there's a thing that exists now that's essentially a public utility that if they deem you in any way just kind of annoying, they can make your presence on the app a complete shadow. They you basically just don't even exist on there, and I guess it doesn't affect the functionality of actually viewing anything on there if you're trying to keep up with news and hot takes. But it's insane that they do this and don't tell anybody and assume this plausible deniability that this is actually a practice they have, when there's fucking people sending me screenshots of them trying to search for my profile and there's nothing coming up in the search results, and then every anything I do or post gets very limited viewership, which maybe what I'm posting just sucks shit, but it like I don't know how the metrics are determined. I don't know how that fucking site works, but I find it real fucking odd that there was a point in time when there was at least like some proportionality between the amount of followers I have and the engagement that the shit I would post got to now where it's like I'm lucky if I'm getting 20 likes on a post. Um so I mean, thank you to all these fucking tech guys for dangling this goddamn fucking carrot in front of us of building some sort of social media following. But if anyone does anything that's just kind of like annoys you or you deem problematic based on your like weird arbitrary rubric, you'll go ahead and just nuke their page without like letting them know or anybody know, and without admitting that you're actually fucking doing it. Honestly, it's psychological torture. It's what they would do to like an influencer at Abu Ghraib. Like if for whatever reason there was like a Hamas influencer and they took them to Abu Ghraib, one of the methods that they would use to torture them would be to allow them access to their phone so they could post selfies and hot takes, and they still have their full following on these apps, but then not tell them that they've been shadow banned. So it's just some cracked out influencer desperately vying for the attention and the affection of the masses and getting fucking nothing, and then going and checking his followers and then checking his likes and just completely driving himself crazy, wondering what happened. I'm in Abu Ghraib. This should be getting more attention. This is what people tune in for. It is for torture. I'm doing the damn thing. I'm in Abu Ghraib, and nobody's even paying attention to me now. And that would be one of the more effective methods of torture were there to be an influencer locked up at Abu Ghraib. Does Abu Ghraib still exist? Who knows? Who cares? We're all victims of psychic torture and manipulation now. I've noticed that just using TikTok the last few days. TikTok has been it's a really fun experiment to see just like how fucked up you can make it in like global population. Because it like I think man, it's like when you're growing up, like one of the values that you're taught is that it's not virtuous. It's kind of trashy to want to be the center of attention, to want to get attention. I mean, that's one of the axioms you're taught early on as a kid is children should be seen, not heard. And so you're taught like at a very young age that it's disrespectful and undignified to seek the attention of others. Move in silence, they say. And I think TikTok has revealed just the desperate desire that everyone has to get attention from strangers because there's like just so many people using it, and they have like really nothing to offer, but they just really want to be noticed. They're screaming out, crying into the void for somebody, pay attention to me. Let me show you my tits. Let me show you my ass. Watch me flip this water bottle. Watch me do some variation of a joke that a billion other people have been doing because I don't know how to have an original thought. It's a great, it's a wonderful psychological experiment, TikTok. And the cream rises to the top. The what works on there, the stuff that's actually interesting to watch will make its way to the For You pages of the masses. I talked about this on the main show, but one of my favorite accounts is this German guy named Sparkling Jup, and he just drinks stuff really fast. He does that thing where I don't know how you do this, but I guess he can just like open his throat and pour fluid down it without like gagging or having to swallow. And so he'll just take like these big, like 1.5 liter bottles of like some German sparkling water and like swirl it around so he gets like the tornado effect in the bottle and just pour the entire thing down his throat. And that's it. That's all he does. And every one of his videos is like a 3-minute compilation of him just drinking a bunch of stuff real fast. And it's like, okay, now we're cooking. This is what I came here for. I don't want to see some bullshit sketch from some guy with an actual like entertainment manager who told him he needs to do TikToks. I want to see just some weird fat German guy showing off this dumb like talent that he has. That's what I want. That and titties. That and titties. Which I've been having I've been putting in the work. I've been doing the research. If you don't know, please everybody follow me because I think I'm on to something. I think I'm on to something with a series I'm doing called TikTok Rack Reactions, where I just react to titties. Because there's so many whores on TikTok, or rather, just maybe not whores, not all of them, but women who definitely want the world to view them in some manner, and they got them out. They got them out. They got the tits out. They got the ass out as well a lot of the time. But right now, I look one thing at a time. I'm focused on the tits, and and I just saw an opportunity. I said, why has no one ever done a tit reaction series? You know, there's so many. There's guys reacting to songs, reacting to movies. There's a whole cottage industry of people reacting to things. Why has no one ever taken the time to react to the plethora of breasts and knockers and hooters that exist on these different social media platforms? And I said, I'll do it. I have nothing to lose. I'm not trying to fuck any of these people. I don't care what anyone thinks about me. You think I'm objectifying them? Fine, I am. Who cares? I'm not the only reason a man would ever concede to any of the demands of the matriarchy would be because they think there's going to be some pussy, like there's like maybe like a withholding of pussy. So you have to think and act a certain way in order to maintain a certain pussy quotient. Because if you're openly horny or objectify people anyway, if you exhibit these like less than desirable qualities, then there goes the pussy. No more pussy for you. Well, guess what, sister? I ain't getting it anyway. Okay, so I might as well have a little fun not getting it and let you know how big and juicy your fucking tits are. And that's what TikTok Rack Reactions is all about. It's a man with nothing. It's a man at the end of his rope. His back is against the wall, but he says to himself, I still love looking at titties, and I'm gonna show the world how good I am at looking at titties and how much I love looking at titties. And that's my philosophy. Is I love titties so much. I found my calling: professional boob enjoyer. I'm the Roger Ebert of boobs, the Pauline Kael of honkers, the who's another critic? I don't follow critics that much. Fuck, I don't know. I don't watch like critics or anything like that. I mean, I watched Siskel and Ebert back in the day, and I've read some like criticism. The Anthony Fantano of milkers. Let me get a peek at them Fantanos, bitch. Man, what a fucking dickbag that guy is, Anthony Fantano. I rarely do I like become filled with rage at somebody's entire fucking personality, but everything I see of Anthony Fantano, I'm just like, God, this guy blows. This guy sucks. It's this like, here's the thing. It comes off very contrived. Look at me podcasting right now. I don't have a fancy setup. I don't have much to work with. Effortless, still. Okay, I'm pulling it off. I know what I'm doing. I'm flowing. Fantano, first off, he's almost 40, and he's using words like mid and dead ass, and lit and W and L, and Rizzler and Yacht and Kai Sanat and all that. And it's like, buddy, you are 37 years old. That is the parlance of the youth. Okay, that's not for you. You fucking bald weirdo. That's not how men who are close to 40 talk. And the youth knows that. The youth is gonna watch Anthony Fantano and go, look at this geezer trying to desperately cling to that which is gone, to that which is forever lost to him, his youth. But I mean, beyond that, it's like just a guy who lists. I don't know, just like has a Spotify playlist, and then I don't know what does he do? I don't know, like, what he just listens to music, and then he's like, man, this new Lil Wayne song is an L, big L. I was hoping for better on this, and it's like, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think white guys are qualified to talk about hip hop at all. I don't think white men should be allowed to offer their opinions in any way on anything that a rapper or hip hop artist is doing, for no other reason than it's corny. It just comes across very corny, and it comes across like a desperate attempt to be seen as cool and knowledgeable by black people. I have fallen into that trap, as I'm sure many of us honkies and crackers have, where you meet a black person, you're hitting it off with a black guy, and then at some point in the conversation, you try to force some black shit in there to let them know that you know what's up. You're just hanging out with a black guy, and then out of nowhere, you're talking about the RZA, the Jizza, the Old Dirty Bastard, Inspector Deck, You God, the Ghostface Killer, and the Method Man. And then he's like, why did you just name all of them like that? And then you guys say, well, it's, I'm like a big fan. I just wanted to let you know that I know all of their names. I know all of the Wu-Tang Clan. And then they can smell that. They can smell that because their noses are so their nostrils large enough to pick up the scent on that one. So yeah, I don't. That's why I don't think Fantano should talk about rap or any music for that matter. I think the only people, honestly, that are allowed to speak on music are black guys listening to Linkin Park for the first time. That's the only time that anyone should talk about music. I mentioned long COVID earlier, which I don't know what that is. But it's a term I've heard people use. But I have been extremely fatigued lately, and maybe it's still the fallout of my brain accident, my horrible, devastating brain accident. But I have been like unbelievably fucking tired and unmotivated lately, and it's like all I want to do is sleep all day. I dream about sleep. Adidas. But yeah, I just have not had a lot of energy, and so I'm finally recording this. Sorry, it's gonna be late, but I have no idea what's going on with me. I've been taking my vitamins. I take every morning. I take a D, a K, a Donkey Kong. DK, Donkey Kong is here. No, I take a D. It's like a D3 with a K2. Some sort of like multivitamin. I take a magnesium. I take a B complex. I take an L-theanine with a little caffeine pill, big yellow horse pill, and then I pour me a glass of water and whip up an emergency in that, chug that, and then I drink a big cup of coffee, and and then 2 hours later I am completely exhausted. So if anyone knows anything about vitamins and minerals and the chemicals that I just named, let me know if what I'm doing to my body is causing me to completely crash during the day, because I have no energy. I go in at my day job at the dick sucking quarry, and by the third or fourth cock, I am pooped. Um, so yeah, I've just been like in almost supernatural level of fatigue, like I'm possessed by some sort of sleep demon. Um, the Hat Man from the subreddit r/dph, taking that fat dose, beating off with the Hat Man. I love that. There's like comfort in community, right? Like maybe it's like that misery loves company, or just like we're all looking for our tribe, our community. But man, it's the dumbest, trashiest thing I've ever done in my life. But there have been, I would say, several times in my life that I have taken much more, a lot more than the recommended dose of Benadryl, the active ingredient of which is diphenhydramine, DPH. Also, the same active ingredient in ZQuil. In fact, the only ingredient. So when you go to the store and you get ZQuil, just know that that's just marketing. That's just packaging. Because what's in ZQuil is exactly the same as what's in Benadryl, which is all exactly the same as what's in the generic sleep aids and antihistamines. So if you're buying name brand Benadryl or name brand ZQuil, you were buying plastic and wrappers and boxes, and nothing more, because it's the exact same active ingredient. But I used to, there have been like a number of times in my life that I've taken, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, joining the 700 club, even 700 milligrams of diphenhydramine. And I didn't know that was a thing that people did necessarily. It was just something I was doing because it was a way to get fucked up. But it was also never good. It was like every time, I think like the motivation for doing this, for taking like a big handfuls of Benadryl, is not to even feel good. It's just to experience something different than what's going on at that moment. Then, like, you're saying to yourself, be like, existing right now as is sober sucks so fucking much. I'd rather actually go to hell, which is what it does to you. Because if you take 700 milligrams of Benadryl, it is hell. It, like, I'm sure I've talked about this before. I can't remember because there's too many holes in my brain from all the times I've done this. But like, if you take a big hefty dose of Benadryl, DPH, like, your heart is gonna kick into overdrive and start beating at whiplash with Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons speeds, and you're gonna get crazy restless leg syndrome. You're gonna switch into manual breathing mode. You're gonna have to like remind yourself to breathe, and then you're gonna get like the most like fucked up, delirious, demented hallucinations. It's like if acid mushrooms are the divine, then DPH is the sacrilege. DPH is the Hellraiser box of tripping, because it's like you're just gonna see a bunch of insects and spiders and bugs, and then one of the main characters of any DPH induced delirium is the Hat Man, which is like just a Babadook you see hanging out in the room with you. There's a guy in a hat, just hanging out. And it was so comforting when I finally discovered the subreddit r/dph, and I saw so many reports of the bugs and spiders and restless legs and fucked up heartbeat, but then also the Hat Man, because I was like, yep, this all checks out. it's good to know that in the same way that like like Ron White and all these like rich entertainers and tech guys have like similar stories. Joe Rogan, like all of them who've done like DMT or ayahuasca, they all report very similar experiences in those trips. The inverse of that, the poor man's ayahuasca, a handful of Benadryl, we all can report back that we are going to the same place as well when we do DPH. It's just instead of a divine spiritual realm in which one can feel their own oneness with the universe, a sense of I've been here before, I will be here again, and I will be here forever. With DPH, you feel a true sense of nothing is real and life is pain, and it's eternal pain for all of us. And that's what we all experience from taking handfuls and handfuls of Benadryl, and that's why the DPH subreddit has been such a comfort for me in my struggles with doing that, doing a very dumb thing. And it is the funniest thing about it is the fact that it's like the trip itself, like what it's doing to you, is unbelievably bad for you. It's inducing delirium, and it can like cause early onset dementia at some point in your life. But it like it sucks. It's painful, and you feel like you're gonna die. But then, like paradoxically, you also get addicted to it. Like I've had that before, where just like night after night, I'm doing this to myself, and night after night, I'm just laying in bed going, "What in the fuck am I doing?" Like I can't think straight. I'm fucking dry in the mouth. My heart is about to burst through my chest. My legs are shaking. The hat man is pointing at me, laughing. I feel like shit. I feel like I'm in fucking hell, and I just keep doing it night after night. And then if you go to the DPH subreddit, there's probably thousands of posts of people with that same experience with like, man, I just can't. I take like at least 400 milligrams every night, and then it's a comments thread with 100 other people going, that's really bad for you, man. That's gonna absolutely rip apart your liver and kidneys and cause you to get dementia. But I also do that. It's like I feel you right there. We're all in this together, brother. Uh, but I don't do that mess no more. I don't do none of that. It's funny that this all started with me talking about like this weird fatigue I've been experiencing, and now that I'm talking about the amount of times in my life I have taken heroic doses of Benadryl, it's like, yeah, maybe that's a factor. Maybe there are gaping holes. Maybe there's like Sasha Grey gaping holes in my brain from all this all this Benadryl that I've taken. It is not to be confused. Robo tripping is a very different thing. That's tussin. That's drinking a ball of tussin, and I think that's dextromethorphan, DXM, baby, which is only bad for you because of the Tylenol that's in it. Pure DXM, I think, is fine in terms of like your organs. I'm sure it's like bad to do that to your brain to alter your mental state that drastically. But as far as like your liver and kidneys and pancreas and all that go, I think DXM is relatively harmless, but they have to put like all this Tylenol and shit in it. And if I'm not, maybe this is just a conspiracy theory I heard, but I think like the main reason they do that is to like dissuade people from like being able to trip on this stuff. Basically saying like, yeah, if you drink a whole bottle of Tussin, you'll fucking get jaundice and fatty liver. Damn. Yeah, I have not taken good care of my body, and I am paying the price. But you bounce back. I'm the first billionaire podcaster, the Daniel Plainview of podcasting, the Roger Ebert of boobs. I'm sure everybody saw that what Darlington that American lawyer in Panama, which this is gonna like really show my ass here, like how stupid I am. When I read Panama, I like legitimately thought Florida. I was like, oh, yeah, Panama City Beach, you know. And I guess until this story, did not realize that Panama is a country. It is like its own country. I just always thought it had something to do with Florida, with Panama City Beach, and it turns out those are completely different places that are kind of like unrelated to each other. Um, and so there is just like a whole ass country called Panama that I realize I don't know anything about other than I guess like the Panama Canal, which I also thought was in Panama City Beach. Yeah, that Darlington guy, that American lawyer in Panama, who was held up in traffic along with everybody else that was on the road that day due to what is like being erroneously referred to as a climate protest on the road. And like I did like some research on this, and it's like the people that were blocking the road during this incident were not they were not climate activists, from what I understand. They weren't like climate protesters. This from what I gather, it looks like the Panamanian government like sold out the like land of Panama, like all this like farmland and just like acres and acres of land, like however much land, to different like mining operations. And so like all these companies are going to come in and start like tearing the copper out of the earth in Panama. I guess, you know, all the companies with meth head CEO. It's funny that when you mine copper from just someone's house, oh, I'm on meth. This is a crime. But when you do the same thing to the earth itself, it's business. Okay, all right, pal. I hear you. You know, always you want to keep your boot on the fucking neck of the little man, and you don't want me to get my score for the day. Yeah, there's some like copper mining operations that are like going to be rolling through Panama to like rip all this copper out of the earth. And I guess the Panamanian government, like, I guess like the similar to like what the U.S. did with like that Keystone pipeline and all that. And so like the way this gets spun and kind of propagandized is like whenever people protest, you know, these companies are going to come in and like rape the earth that they, you know, enjoy and appreciate and, you know, respect. They decide to like put their foot in the ground and say like, hey, I like, please don't do this. Like this is our land. We like this land. We like having a healthy earth under our feet. Please don't do this to continue this endless pursuit of capital for seemingly no reason. You know, it's like whatever, just improving your bottom line year after year and improving nothing for anybody. But they like, so the like people will protest these operations, and then the news gets a hold of it and they spin it into it's like libtard wackadoo climate protesters think the earth is going to end, and they're holding up business. They're slowing things down for the movers and shakers of the world, and then everybody like buys into that narrative that it's, you know, a bunch of fucking Al Gores on their like scissor lifts, holding up commerce in transit. And that I mean, I don't know. That's not to like disregard in any way actual climate change, which I don't know, may or may not be real, but like it's a different thing that's happening than what they're saying. Because from the Panama thing, these protests have been going on like all over the country for a while, with people like who just don't want these big businesses to come in and do this, and who feel like their government like betrayed them. And so this like American lawyer, this Darlington guy, was held up in traffic, and then in broad daylight, pulled out a gun and killed 2 of the protesters, which is like, okay, it's an odd decision to make. Not even just for the fact that it's it's pretty weird to kill 2 people in broad daylight in the middle of traffic. Forget about that. If you are feeling inconvenienced by traffic or some sort of blockade in the road, and your response to that, you're trying to get home or trying to get to work, wherever you gotta go, you're in a hurry, and something's holding you up in the road, like protesters, and you say to yourself, I just want to get to where I'm fucking going. This is such an inconvenience. This is a pain in the ass. I am white hot fuming mad right now. If your response to that is to then kill those people, I don't. So what? What is supposed, like? What do you think is going to happen now? Like, it's not like you're just gonna. It's like, oh, they're dead now. I'm gonna drive home. I have removed the blockade from the road. Let's all go home, folks. No, it's like, no. Okay, well now you just never get to go home again. It's like, oh, you thought you were having a bad day before. You thought that this was like, you had to sit in your air-conditioned SUV for longer than you wanted to. Well, now you get to sit in a musty, dank Panamanian prison. It's baffling to me what led to that decision. I can't, and that's the thing that like, I see so many people online lauding this guy for murdering people, and saying we've all felt it, we've all felt that rage, you don't hold up traffic. That's, for first off, it's illegal to block the road. Secondly, it's annoying. So this was bound to happen. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I understand having road rage and like being annoyed and feeling like wildly inconvenienced, but I can't empathize with somebody who then turns to a murderous rage in response to those feelings. Because as annoying as it is to deal with traffic and all that kind of stuff, I understand that if my response is anything other than just screaming to myself in my car, if I fuck up anyone else's day or kill somebody, it's gonna make things so much fucking worse than they already were for me. Like, I gotta go to trial. I gotta get a lawyer. I gotta go to trial. This is gonna take up weeks, and then probably also the rest of my life. So like, this is one of the weird, like, bird brain, low IQ, terminally online things that like truly bothers me, because I'm just like, where are you people coming from that you empathize with this at all? This is like an act of unhinged, idiotic savagery that like should be vilified. This is like nothing, this guy didn't like do anyone any favors, and he didn't do himself any favors. It didn't make his own, it didn't make his day better. It didn't make anyone's day better. It just like it killed 2 people, ruined the lives of their families and loved ones, and then fucking ruined his life. So I mean, there's just a lot of like weird people, like weirdly evil people out there who like maybe themselves are never going to commit any like real act of violence or harm against anybody, but in their souls, their hearts are black. Not that there's anything wrong with black, necessarily. Like, I believe in elevating melanated voices, but black in the sense of void, the abyss is what exists within their hearts and souls, and it like, yeah, and all these people are fucking pussies anyway. And I can say that because I'm a pussy. Like just going online and talking about like seeing some lawyer kill 2 people in broad daylight and going, yeah, same, I feel you there, brother, we've all felt it. It was like, and it's like, bitch, you are too much of a pussy to ever do what this guy did. You ain't got the fucking balls to do this. You just want to seem tough because you think it's like the cool opinion now to hate protest, unless it's to the January 6th protesters, everyone else that's protesting is bad. That's the other thing that gets me is like, okay, so like all these fucking people that go on and on about like like the Constitution, First Amendment rights. I know this happened in Panama, but like the Americans that go on about this, who believe in like these unalienable freedoms that humans have, especially in America, the like First Amendment and right to protest and all that. Like whenever anyone protests in a way that they for like something they don't like necessarily agree with, all of a sudden that it's bad now. It's actually, you shouldn't be doing this because you care about the earth, the environment. You should get fucking shot in the goddamn street for giving a shit about the earth. Um. So yeah, that's what really like. I guess this goes back to just like really what the media is, and the way it spins things, and like contorts the way people think about things. Like we've seen it over the years with cable news, just all these like cable news channels. The manufacturing consent, using the mass media as like a form of propaganda to convince people to think in a way that lines up with the interest of corporations and governments and whatever. And so like, I think a lot of people have like very like propagandized brains, and don't even realize they're, and I'm probably one of them. They don't even realize they're not the free thinkers they think they are. You know, because, like, I mean, ask yourself, like, okay, if you don't believe in climate change, like, if you don't think climate change is real, and there's like environmental harm being done to the global warming, all of it, and it's fine. I'm willing to say that that's in dispute. That maybe there's not climate change. Fine. But I mean, like, ask yourself, like, why do you believe that? Like, why do you whole cloth believe that this like movement with millions of people involved, they're advocating for like making some attempt to heal the earth? Like, why do you believe that what they're doing is foolish and like libtard cuckery? And I think if anyone says they came to that point of view just on their own, like, it does not realize the like lobbying and propaganda that has been put forth by these corporations and different companies and like governmental agencies, who like where their interests lie is in doing the things that are harming the environment in these ways. Like, oil companies and car manufacturers and like all these different businesses that fucking stripping the minerals and metals out of the earth, that's like doing all this harm to the environment. I can only imagine that these companies want you to think that there's no real change happening to the environment so that they can keep doing the business they're doing. And so it, like, yeah, I don't know, like, I follow the money, I get. Like, that's the thing is, if you like feel this like rage in your heart every time you see Greta Thunberg, who like admittedly is kind of obnoxious, but like out of all the public figures that we've had ever, a relatively benign person who I think like actually does have good intentions and has like a good heart. And the amount of fucking hate people have for like people like her is really odd to me, because it's like, what, like a girl who just loves the earth and doesn't want it to suffer is like, to you that's the great Satan, is just some like Nordic Downsy looking autistic lady who just doesn't want the planet to cry out in pain. And maybe, maybe I empathize with the climate activists, because I grew up playing, Final Fantasy VII, and that whole story is about a mega conglomerate energy corporation sucking the life force out of the planet, killing it, and a ragtag squad of climate activists, domestic terrorists, known as Avalanche going up against the Shinra Electric Power Company to stop them from continuing their rape and murder of the planet by harvesting the Mako life force energy from the Earth. And then also there's a guy whose like mom is an alien or something, and he's the actual villain, and he's gonna cast a spell that destroys the planet. Um, anyway, so that's, I guess I was indoctrinated at a very young age by Final Fantasy VII to be a climate activist. Maybe I was propagandized by the people over at SquareSoft with Final Fantasy VII. So I don't know. I think most people just don't even really like give much consideration to like why they think the way they do, and I think anyone who considers themselves like a truly free thinker, is not, myself included. I'm not saying anything particularly revelatory here. I'm just saying the thing. It's like it. Yeah, I don't know. Any attempt to escape the Matrix, you just find yourself in another Matrix. You know what I mean? What's that one story that's like that? I can't remember. I guess it's the Matrix, but they never got it. They never did that part of it. Remember back in the day, there were like theories that Zion, which is a loaded term now, but the real world in the Matrix was actually just another extension, like another program in the Matrix for people to like give them a sense of like the people who had grown fed up with like the sort of like comfort of modern living in the Matrix. There was another like program designed to simulate this like real world scenario that was to give them a sense of hope and purpose and something to fight for, but was itself still in the Matrix, and that there was like no way to actually truly escape the Matrix. You would just find yourself in different like dream scenarios, basically. And so that's, I guess that's what I'm describing, is that any attempt to become any sort of free thinker, you just find yourself caught in another thought prison. And so that's my thought. That's what I think about the people who are like so what's the word? Just conditioned to hate the just any sort of point of view or activism or anything that challenges their like preconceived notions in any way, and it's interesting because like once you like understand how like with a lot of these things, like conservatives and liberals are like kind of the same thing at this point. It's interesting to talk to like some of the dads I grew up with who will like bust my balls by like calling, they're like, you're just another one of these liberals, and I'm like, fuck no. No, I'm not. The liberals are the ones who wanted fucking Joe Biden in office. I never liked him. I didn't want like I like whatever a liberal is, I'm not that. Whatever a conservative is, I'm not that either. Like I don't like they all seem like the fucking same thing to me at this point. So I don't even like everything's so jumbled up now. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Maybe I am a true free thinker. I took the damn red pill. It's me, the top G, in my $3 million Bugatti. I guess that'd be cool to own a nice car. You know what's a bigger flex than owning a $3 million car? Owning a $3 million Magic the Gathering card. That's when Post Malone bought that Magic the Gathering card. That's a much more ballin' ass purchase than anything anyone's ever done with millions of dollars, because it is so fucking stupid. It's like I can kind of wrap my head around a luxury vehicle or a nice boat or even a Rolex, maybe. But a Magic the Gathering card is like, oh man, you have like new money. This is this is a really fucking awesome, stupid way to spend. Which is, I would do that. Like I would absolutely be spending money if I had his kind of wealth. I'd be buying dumb shit. Uh, so that's like, to me that's more balling than owning a fleet of Bugattis, which look like shit. They look like they don't even, like, yeah, they just don't even look fun to me. I get, maybe it's because they're so expensive. I don't know, but I'd rather drive around a nice little Honda Accord, nice little, $8,000 Honda Accord. Beat the fucking brakes off that bitch. But I'm not a car guy. I don't give a shit about cars or trucks. It like literally is just like whatever works. Um, I'm not trying to peacock. I'm not trying to flex. Peacock, the streaming app that I don't know why it's different from what I don't know what's going on with the streaming apps. What's going on there, folks? You heard about this streaming? You heard about this binge watching? Yeah, I love that streaming now is just more of a hassle than cable was. Cable was just a nice bundle, and then you can flick around the channels every night, which I miss. I miss that sense of daring and adventure of just scrolling through the channels and landing on a Golden Girls marathon on the Wii channel, Women's Entertainment. Um, but now there's everything, so many apps, so many streaming apps, and I'm lost with all. Like, um, and yeah, so everybody cut the cord, and then they strangled themselves with the damn, or no, they cut the cord, drowned in the stream. There you go, folks. That's the poetry I was looking for to describe this streaming apps. Um, and there's that. Yeah, most of it sucks. Netflix was at its best when it was DVDs mailed to your house. That was the best because it was every movie that's ever existed. You wait a couple days, it's in your mailbox, and then you get to you watch. There's like a real tangible sense of like urgency because it's a physical DVD. So it's like, well, there's not going to be any more movies until I watch this one and return it. So there's still a sense of urgency to watch it. So you end up actually watching it, whether it's good or bad. You have the experience and you send it back in and get another one. But now, with everything at your fingertips on demand, what do? You don't watch a fucking goddamn thing. Everything is just readily available for you, and there's no urgency. There's no real demand to watch any of it. And also, most of it sucks shit because all the apps are trying to like develop their own original content, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So like all the like, if I like, honestly, like, if I see that red in, that's a damn scarlet letter for me. If it's a Netflix original, in my mind, that might as well be, that might as well be a damn Kmart ass movie. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a brand. It's not a brand I can trust. It's not a mark of quality, like the Lacoste alligator. If that's a appropriate corollary there, but no, nothing. The Netflix originals mostly suck ass. Like, I tried watching that Fall of the House of Usher, and I just was like, what is this? Like, this just sucks. I know it's like an adaptation of the Poe story, the Edgar Allan, but nothing about it I found particularly gripping or engaging. I was like bored, and I didn't even know what was going on. And then I was like, oh, there's Mark Hamill showing up in dog shit media like this and that fucking Burt Kreischer movie. Which when I saw that Mark Hamill, when I saw the first trailer for The Machine, and I saw that Mark Hamill was in it, I was like, damn, how'd they get such a big star like Mark Hamill? And I forgot that he actually has not had like that big of a career outside of Star Wars. In terms of like acting in movies and TV and stuff, like he's one of the like greatest voice actors we've had in like animation. But in terms of anything in front of the camera, he actually has not had much of a career outside of Star Wars. More of a career than most of us have had in the entertainment industry for sure. But like it's definitely, I think it would be, you know, if you got a movie with a studio behind it and lots and enough money, I think it would be pretty easy to lock down Mark Hamill for your production, even if it's a role as degrading as having to be Bert Kreischer's dad. um, yeah, but he's, you know, he's an incredible voice actor. It's almost like weird, like knowing how good he is at voice acting, like being the Joker and all these different characters. It's like weird that he is also Luke Skywalker, this like boyish, innocent, like paragon of virtue, when he has like he's so good at doing like a menacing, like trickstery. I mean, he also played the trickster in the original Flash TV show from the early '90s and in the CW Flash TV show. But yeah, he has such a like a sinister, like menacing voice in the animation stuff he does. It's weird that he is also Luke Skywalker. But that's, hey folks, that's acting, okay? You know what I mean? It's like Heath Ledger, sweetest guy you ever seen, also the most vile, evil Joker that we've seen on screens. So heinous that character that he killed himself with heroin. Yeah, I love that narrative that it's like he got too into the role of the Joker and he couldn't handle it anymore, and it's like, no, he was addicted to drugs, and he just also happened to be good at acting, and he was the Joker in a movie. But I think what really killed him was his crippling addiction to drugs. Yeah, they really want to like romanticize celebrity deaths when it like the reality is it's like, no, this is what happens when you give someone with no self control and like horrible this horrible addiction millions of dollars, is that now they have an endless supply of the thing that is killing them. You know, I get maybe there is like an element of like this tortured artist soul in there, but it's also, you know, if you throw millions of dollars at a tortured artist, guess what? You just you just paid for all of their drugs that they're going to use to deal with that torture. Meanwhile, the tortured target cashier has to take a damn handful of Benadryl every night because that's all they can afford. Which I guess will also kill you. But that's that will do it for this one. This was Lost in the Maze 11. I'm gonna go ahead and edit this. I don't know why I'm telling you. You'll know that this exists when it's on YouTube and Apple Podcasts and all that. But I'm gonna go ahead and edit this and upload it. And by edit, I mean do nothing. Wait for the file to convert and then upload it. Please subscribe to the Patreon, patreon.com/cornfed with Dalton Pruitt. Please subscribe to me on TikTok at Dalton Pruitt. Please love me because I love you so much. Bye.
Moving my bones, no place to rest. Travel the north slow.